Hello, this is Denis O'Donovan with ProfitComm. In today's chat session, we're here with Dr. Willie Sanders of Towson University. How you doing today, sir?
I'm doing well. How are you doing, man?
I'm doing great. I appreciate you being here. So you and I met last year at the Cammy Awards. You took home
Yeah.
some hardware. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
Um, I shared with you that I was a proud Towson grad going back to Towson State, so I might be a little older. But you shared with me, you said, "Hey, come on by and take a look at our program." And I did, and I was blown away at what you're doing in that center and how you're equipping these young men and women to really be rock stars. So I wanted to come out today and just highlight that. And so we'll start this with, who are you and how are you affiliated with Towson?
All right. So my full title is Professor Dr. Willie Sanders Jr. So as you can tell from that, my main gig here is I'm a professor in the Computer Information Sciences Department. My doctorate is in cybersecurity. That's kind of my jam. But I'm also the Associate Director of Towson University's Center for Interdisciplinary and Innovative Cybersecurity, what we call the Cyber4All Center for short. One of the things that I focus on at the Cyber Center is connecting industry and workforce to higher education, because there's a gap there. There's stuff that we can teach in a typical classroom, but there's other stuff that, in order to really be successful in the field, students have to know. But there's a separation. So one of my goals in the Cyber Center is to bridge that gap, to tie our students, our learners, which I coach several undergraduate research students through my lab here at the Cyber Center, on connecting them to those opportunities and to hands-on experiences or simulated-based experiences that'll give them what they need in order to hit the ground running as they transition from being students to industry professionals.
That's great. And seeing AI and all these things that are taking off and how cyber plays such a huge role. So that being said, what are you doing in your cyber program that makes Towson stand out from the rest?
So I'm kind of I'm like you, Dennis. I'm a Towson alum. I got my master's degree in cyber applied information technology from Towson. So I'm kind of Towson through and through. And I would like to say I think that we're doing some of the best work in cyber in the state and even nationally. Towson is a NSA Center of Cyber Excellence. We hold 2 designations in cyber operations and cyber defense. And actually, the operations designation, we're one of only 30 universities in the entire country that hold that designation from the NSA. So as you can imagine, we do a lot of work from a research perspective with different government agencies. Matter of fact, out of the Cyber Center, we have 3 really cool projects running. We have a project centered around election security and how that integrates with cybersecurity. We have an award-winning cyber defense team that operates out of the center. And then my research lab, we call it the TU Mock SOC. We have a mock security operations center that I built up, where students get a chance to get immersed in the field of security operations analysis through simulated-based training in a mock security operations center setting. So we're doing a whole bunch of stuff, and this is all in addition to the degree tracks that we have in cybersecurity. So we currently have, underneath of our computer science department, we have 3 tracks: 1 in computer science, 1 in IT, 1 in information systems. And each one of those tracks has a cyber lane that students can pursue as an add-on to their degree through enhanced or additional courses that they can take that help them develop those skill sets. We're also now part of a program where we're integrating micro-credentials into our curriculum. So one of the big partners that we have is Google, and we're utilizing their Google professional certification, professional certificate programs to integrate Google cybersecurity, data analytics, AI certifications into the classroom and into our clubs, so that students don't just come away with a degree, they're coming away with stackable credentials that, again, are going to make them more competitive when they get out into the field.
And I have seen your mock sock, and it looks just like the real socks that I've seen out there. So I can attest to that. And you talked about the certifications and stuff. What other skills and tools are you bringing to the forefront for these young men and women to equip them to succeed in the real world day one?
So we try to connect with folks like you, Dennis, so that our students get introduced to those industry tools that people in the field are actually using. And then in our lab environments, we're able to deploy those tools, create simulations, create lab scenarios where we can play around with them. We also do community outreach projects where we're engaging with community organizations to try to help utilize our skill sets and build our skill sets while also helping the community out. So things as simple as, doing security audits for nonprofits, some more complex things. We have a couple of startup organizations that we've reached out to where we're talking about even helping to support some of their research efforts to bring different solutions that they might have patented into being actual MVPs so they can launch them as products, and acting as almost like a research as a service arm to help support cyber organizations who are trying to get off the ground. So we're dabbling in a whole bunch of stuff and always looking for more opportunities to give our students a leg up on becoming top-notch industry experts, while at the same time serving the community around us.
Great. Last question I'll ask you is where do you see this program? It's certainly growing fast. Where do you see it in 5 years? If you had to have a magic ball, where would you see it?
So in 5 years, I see the Cyber Center as becoming a hub for all different types of cybersecurity research and community outreach projects throughout this entire region. We're actually one of the university's first institutes. So the way the institutes work in academia is they're almost kind of like their own standalone entity that's partnered with the organization, meaning that they generate their own funding to operate to a certain degree. I foresee our institute being, uh, influential enough and impactful enough to stand on its own. Maybe not quite as equal as the university itself, but people will know the name TU Cyber Center when they come into the area, or if anything is spoken about cybersecurity. I like to see patented products coming out of our center, big research opportunities coming out of the center, and definitely partnerships with industry organizations who are looking for a pipeline of talent. To directly be placed into their organizations, because they'll know that Towson is producing students who can hit the ground running.
Well, I was so impressed with the young men and women that were there, and so impressed with what you built there. This is what I will say. If you are a business owner, if you are an IT leader in the area around the university and the DMV, you seriously, seriously need to consider these young men and women for internships and for employment within your IT. You can hear by what Dr. Sanders has told us. They are equipping these young men and women to be completely uh, assets from day one of walking into your organization. Dr. Sanders, I really appreciate you being here. Thank you for
Thank
highlighting the
you.
program and telling us about it. And I can't wait to watch you do great things.
Awesome. Thank you for your time. Thank you for letting me share.
Have a great day. Thank you.